Sound would help. Thank you, Zach Bonifer. See, I had this muted, and then I forgot to unmute it. So now I got to start all over. Thanks, Zach. Jiminy Christmas. Let's start this over. Welcome back, everybody, to Smash This podcast. Well, I think that's a first that we got some Twitch people in here first. That is definitely a first. Usually it's YouTube, then we, because you never know when the Twitch kicks in. Takes a little bit sometimes. I don't know. Twitch is weird. But good evening. I know it's late, depending on where you are. But I watched AEW tonight. So this isn't like a full-blown AEW review. I'm just excited about a few things I saw. So I figured I'd come on here and talk about it. There's a few other things I wanted to talk about too. It's 9/11. Share some thoughts. Figured I'd give my audience, depending on who showed up, some chances to just share some thoughts on 9/11, because it's really something that rocked this nation, in a bad way, It's been a while since I tuned into STP. Yeah, well, it's been a while since I've been live on this channel. Like I said, most of the time lately, I've been on. I've just been busy with TNI. For those of you, majority of you that tuned in tonight, I'm sure know that I'm on TNI, Total Nonstop Impact, every Thursday, sometimes on Tuesdays. Wasn't last night. Was watching the debate. I'm not going to get into political stuff. Don't worry. No one wants to. I mean, some people like talking about it generally, but that's not what I'm going to use this platform for. So, Shane Taylor Promotions. Yeah. I sold STP to him. He owes me money. No, I'm kidding. Totally kidding. What else? Just some other stuff bouncing around in my head that I just wanted to get out there. Just thoughts. So, but whoever catches this, I know I really let this channel go. So I just want to talk about that for a minute. But before I do, like I always ask my audience, please smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications. If a majority of my audience is on Twitch tonight, well, you can certainly sub if you're not subbed already. If you're with Amazon Prime and you use a free sub, you can use it for my channel if you like. If not, well, I just appreciate I know there's only so much you can do on Twitch. I don't even remember. I'm so rusty with Twitch. I'm going to get to that. Mr. Aries says, any thoughts on Moxley's situation from All Out leading into last night? Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And I've got Nigel McGuinness on the cover because that was a pretty big thing that dropped tonight. So, yeah, the Mox thing is crazy. We'll get to that. So just be patient, folks. I just wanted to get some things out of my head here for a minute. But before I do, I picked this up today. I saw this out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, no way. So for those of you that follow me on Instagram, there's a new Coca-Cola Zero, and it's Oreo flavored. So I'm gonna take a sip of this. I'm gonna see how it is. Because God knows I love my Coke Zero. I love Pepsi Zero too. I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, you can't drink both." Yeah, well, guess what? Sometimes you just got to break the rules. But I saw this. I'm going to drink it. I'm going to check it out. Okay, so you don't taste like the chocolate, really. It's more like tasting the cream from an Oreo, and that has kind of like well, the cream flavor has kind of a vanilla hint to it. Um so if you like I don't really get a lot of I mean, Oreo's a cookie. You when you eat an Oreo cookie, you're eating an Oreo cookie. So this has more of a vanilla Coke kind of flavor. So if you like vanilla Coke, I don't even know. Do they still make vanilla Coke? I haven't had a vanilla Coke in ages. So if you like vanilla Coke, try this. Don't be scared. Don't be like, ew, Oreos and Coke. No, try it. Keanu Reviews, what is up, dude? I see you reviewing some stuff on your channel once in a while. Yeah, Oreo Coke is decent. Kind of reminds me of vanilla Coke. See? Got a bot in here. Yeah, just ignore it. Just ignore it. I don't. They're basically harmless. Yeah. Coke is the best. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. We have vanilla Coke and vanilla Coke Zero here in Australia. Oh, dude, you're in Australia. See, there's people that have been like a part of this channel for like so long, and you lose track of, sometimes you forget, if you haven't seen them in a long time, you forget like where they're from. So wow, this is actually really appropriate that you're here, dude, because we're going to talk about Grand Slam that's coming to Australia. At least as far as I know it is. That's really cool. And I don't know what size stadium or what kind of place it's coming to. Honestly, I haven't heard. But yeah, let's talk about the card. Well, you know what? We'll talk. I don't know. See, this is part of why I wanted to come on here and just get some stuff off my chest, because J-Bone's brain sometimes goes 20 different directions, and then you're trying to lasso it in, and it's kind of frustrating. You know what? So we're going to talk about that for a minute. Do you ever go through life and let's say you got like life goals, and it's like, we'll just call them A, B, and C. Okay. Nothing. I'm not going to like say anything like, building a house or nothing. I don't know. We're just going to call them A, B, and C. Keep it generic. And you have to do A, B, and C, but there's something in your brain that blocks you from doing it. Part of it is, I guess you can call part of it is like procrastination. Part of it is, I don't know what, honestly, I don't know what the hell. I'll just call it like a mental block. Sometimes it's a bit of anxiety, I guess. It's hard to describe, but it's something that I've been dealing with lately. And I feel like within the last few weeks, I'm finally starting to crack through whatever the hell this is in life that's keeping me from doing certain things. We'll just call them A, B, and C. So yeah. So part of that part of that is this channel. Well, I won't go into personal life stuff, but part of that is this channel. I've been racking my brain for months now of what to do with this channel. And I really still don't know. All I know is that I want to still keep this channel active and get it back to what it was, you know? And that's not going to be easy. I'm still working on figuring that out. But in the meantime, I got TNI, I got the Ramblers. And don't get me wrong, I love doing those. Those guys are all my podcast family. I got the Ramblers, Ramblers Unleashed, and I got the TNI folks. I got Bill and Alicia, and then everyone else behind the scenes that is not really on the show, but they're still a part of the family, and I still chat to them all the time. So, Jay White, yeah, maybe. Takes time to get through to the other side. Right. Yeah. It's, I don't know what it's just, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. But once you, like, when you're starting to crack through it, and it feels like $1,000,000. It really does. You really feel like life is starting to happen again. And I still blame part of that on the pandemic. Cause like when you're like I was like stuck in this house for months on end and didn't do anything. And that really, I'll be straight. That fucked my head up. That really did. And I was just trying to stay safe because of my health conditions, you know? So things mentally are starting to change for a positive for me. And I really don't talk about this stuff much, but I felt like tonight was a good night to just throw it out there. And if it helps anyone out there, great. If you can't identify with it, oh well, no biggie. We'll continue, you know? So, but for those of you listening still, I appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, so yeah. Oreo Coca-Cola. Zero. Coke Zero. Good stuff. All right. Oh, then of course we got this guy from the past that comes back. Oh my God. The W. W. Whatever. Good evening, sir. Why not? Mr. Aries in the Twitch says, whatever happened to Mark Davis? Now, is that, hang on, someone else? Is that the tag team partner of oh God, what the hell is the kid's name that tagged with Will Ospreay tonight? Is that his tag team partner? Kyle Fletcher. Thank you. Yes. I got a couple in here. Thank you. Paul Don, or Don Paul. Is that last name, first name, last? What are we doing here? Kyle Fletcher. Thank you. Thank you. You beat me to it. Mark got injured, sadly. Even if he got better, I don't know if they should put Kyle back in Aussie Open. Now, they're actually like a New Japan tag team, aren't they? Or are they part of AEW? Like they've been gone for so long, I don't even know. Good evening, Courtney. The Outrunners should have won. I tell you what, I popped for them big tonight. I know they finally got their big AEW first win last week or whatever it was. And I tell you what, they got one of the biggest pops of the night, even though there unfortunately wasn't very many people there in the arena, it sounded like, but they really did. Okay, says he was in United Empire and Aussie Open, both in AEW and New Japan. Okay. They won twice. Either did Mark get signed to AEW too, or only Kyle? I thought Mark was injured by then. Sadly, I think they were both signed. I'm pretty sure they were both signed together. I'm pretty sure. And then Kyle Fletcher, excuse me, started his solo career, and man, I tell you, that kid's been killing it. I mean, he really killing it. He's got a great look. His athleticism is unbelievable. So yeah. I'm actually excited for Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Does Mark Davis return? You know what? I don't know if he's ready. I think it'd be great if he did. Like if he returned and helped Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher win the tag titles, but that'd be kind of awkward, wouldn't it? Maybe Will Ospreay last second would be like, "No, bruv, I got a buddy here. I think that wants to tag with you instead of me." I don't know. I think that'd be I don't know. We'll see. But that gauntlet tonight was goofy. It really was. One on Rampage and Collision on Friday. Okay, thanks, Courtney. Thank you. They were Ring of Honor tag champs, and they lost to BTYB. That sounds like it's like right on the tip of my tongue. But anyways. Paul. J-Bone, do you think Private Party is getting written off TV for what Mox group did to them? No, I don't think so. I think it's just, sadly, they were the ones that got picked to get the beat down to make a statement. Because, I mean, that's what this is all about, you know, Mox and what's oh my god, I see. If I don't watch AEW on a regular basis, sometimes I forget. Marina Shafir, is that her name? She's pretty badass, man. She's pretty badass. Better than you, baby. Oh yeah. Okay, Marina Shafir. I mean, you want to talk about legit badass. She is legit badass. I think she's a good pick for this group. I never would have thought they'd pick her to be part of this. I think it's cool that it's Mox and like part of his old crew. And then they added Pac and got rid of Yuta, which was interesting. You know, I felt that was interesting. It's poor Yuta. Poor Yuta was just crying and crying and crying. Yeah, what they did at All Out was pretty harsh. Pretty harsh. Kicking ass. Yeah, that's right, Keanu. Yeah. Commander can't catch a break. Claudio didn't come out with Mox tonight, though. No, well, he was out there when They did the beatdown on Private Party and Commander, and Pac was out there. The whole crew was out there. But Mox came out later with Marina Shafir when he was talking to Darby, and it was just those two. Keanu says he's got tickets to Grand Slam. I'm excited. I didn't watch a lot, but I don't watch a lot, but I still love AEW. Dude, the wrestling is great. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about tonight. You know, me and the guys over at Ramblers Unleashed. By the way, if you're not following Ramblers Unleashed, please go check them out. We usually go live early afternoons on Saturday. I'm going to try to do a show this coming weekend on Saturday. I start a new job on Saturday, so I'm going to try to time it right so that I can quick do a show and then go off to work. So we'll see. No promises, but I'm going to try. Honestly, doing a show before I go to work might help take some of my nerves down a little. NXT TNA was great last night too. Yeah, I missed it. I was watching the debate. I know. Hey, no, I'm not going to talk about the debate. Everyone's got their own likes and dislikes, whatever. I'm not putting it on this. I'm not going to use politics on this platform. So just please keep your thoughts to yourself on politics, please. You know, I don't want to start any World War IIIs in here. I don't, please. But yeah, I saw what happened. I saw Hammerstone was on there, and I saw Jordan faced that beach chick. Luca, is that her name? I forget. But yeah, let's talk about the Mox thing for a bit, and then we'll talk about a few other things. Ruka, sorry. Still learning. Soul Ruka. Thanks, Aries. Yes. Dan, yes, we're gonna get to that, Courtney. We're gonna get to that. Hang on. So Mox came back a few weeks ago and he said, "This is not your company anymore." He said that to Tony Schiavone in the ring, and everyone's like, "Ooh, what does this mean? What does this mean?" It's really, that was the one thing that really shook up the place. And he called out Darby Allin. He's like, "Just want to talk. So my thought is, okay, Mox is starting a new crew. He wants Darby to join him. That's what I'm thinking this whole time. Boy, was I wrong. Oh boy, was I wrong. Because Darby came back tonight. By the way, okay, so betraying Bryan Danielson. Mox was out there, and I had a feeling. I had a bad feeling when he gave him a hug and he kissed him on the head. Something told me. I'm like, there's something. You ever heard of the Judas kiss? Like a kiss of betrayal. That's what that felt like. I was like, no, there's something. I was hoping I was wrong. his ring promo was kind of awesome tonight. Oh, you guys talking about Nigel, or are you guys talking about? We'll get to Nigel. Forsaken Kiss of Judas. Yeah, it's called a bunch of different things. Yeah. And I don't mean the Chris Jericho move. Mox has been a favorite of mine for a long time, and he's back. He's starting something new. They're shaking things up. I love it. Some new crew coming in and shaking things up. It's great. I love it. But the fact that he went after Bryan Danielson, kind of killed me inside, because I'm so happy for Bryan Danielson, and I know he's going to be wrapping up his in-ring career soon. I think he's going to stick around with AEW for a while, unless he decides to leave and then go back to WWE as like a coach or something and go in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Like, who knows? People have a different mindset when they start a new career in AEW, and you can't fault them. Everyone's got their own goals and needs and all sorts of stuff. But man, so Mox's crew did all that, made a statement, and now we know what's going on. Mox wants to be back on top. So Darby showed up finally. Busy guy, and they're talking, and Mox, I'm just paraphrasing here, but Mox wants Darby's title shot. It's like, are you kidding me? So there's some weird, I don't mean weird in a bad way, but there's some weird stuff going on. So like Christian Cage has a title shot too that he earned, and he was carrying that around, and it says next AEW champion on the whatever he was carrying, like a book, folder, whatever. But Darby earned his a while ago. Excuse me. One of the last big pay-per-views. I can't remember. Aries says, okay, really? So, okay, this is one point of view. I don't know where this came from, but Mr. Aries says Bryan betrayed the BCC. I'm not sure how you see that, but Keanu says it's going to be a 4-way Danielson versus Cage versus Darby versus Moxley. Oh my God. That's crazy. I like that, but that's crazy. Christian, though, feels like a guy that's going to like sneak in from nowhere with a ref, cash it in. Okay, so he's explaining himself here, I think. BCC wasn't a face faction. There was always a heel faction. They stayed heel while Bryan turned face for his world title run. That's just me, though. Okay, I get that, but I don't look at that as a betrayal. He had his own goals. He's got his own career. He still loved his buddies, but his crew is obviously backing Moxley, which is interesting. It's like, why are they backing Moxley and not defending Bryan Danielson. I don't think that's been explained yet. I'm kind of waiting for that. I think that's going to come out. When Bryan Danielson comes back, he's going to have one of those like WTF rants. Like what the hell, guys? You know? What happened? What happened? But I like it. I like it. I think it's really ballsy of Mox to go after Darby and be like, you need to give me your title shot because you're not ready. So it feels like Darby's really going to get he's in line for it's the start of a push. It's the start of a push for Darby. It feels good. It's not just another TNT title run. It's not I don't know. Name another title. They got a bunch of them. This is for the big one. And he's been with the company a long time. He's a day one guy. And I really feel like, man, if you're going to push a kid now, do it while I think he's healthy enough. God, I don't know. Darby's always effing himself up. It's kind of frustrating. Like he said that in the promo tonight. He's like, people always say you gotta slow down. It's like, yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. It's like, bro, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. Slow build Darby. Yeah, and it feels good. Like it's not gonna happen immediately. He's gonna have the match with Mox. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. Is it going to go to Mox? Is Darby going to lose? And then Darby has to, like, he's going to go in like the underdog and have to like win it back and then go for the title. And then like in the meantime, Christian Cage is going to be Bryan Danielson or something like that. I don't know. There's all this stuff. So there's a lot of little stories going on. I know, like, I've been so critical. Me and the crew have been critical. Me and the Ramblers talking about there's no stories, but you know what? There are stories. Sometimes you just gotta like, I'm not saying that my crew needs to pay attention more. I'm just saying in general, we have to pay attention more. Like, okay, that, you know, like not everything is a storyline. Sometimes Tony just throws matches out there because he thinks they're cool. Like Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara. That was awesome. That was awesome. Darby versus Danielson at Wrestle Dream. Then Darby wins the title. It might happen that soon. I don't know. Race's fan. Hey, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Brian wants to retire at Wrestle Dream. Okay, I haven't heard that, but I know stuff is like winding down for him. I can see Yuta costing Mox. Ooh, see? Wow. I like, see, like you see all this other stuff happening and then you don't see Yuta for a while and then Yuta shows up and it's like, oh my God, Yuta. Yeah, I like that because Yuta wasn't on the show tonight. Did they address Pac, Claudio, Wheeler, trio title hold? No, they didn't. See, that's kind of messy. They just won those. I remember seeing Ricochet versus Sammy Guevara back in 2017. God, I'd have to go back and see that. I was a fan of Sammy Guevara when he was in the Indies before AEW. It's kind of blurry, you know. It's wrestling, like you just forget stuff. You know you saw stuff, but you don't remember when or where. Keanu says, as long as Jack Perry is still champ by Grand Slam, I'll be happy. Are you talking about like still being TNT champion? I like it. He shows up in his truck or whatever. Is that like just a black painted ambulance? Is that what that is? I'm trying to figure what the hell that is that he rolls up in, but it's all black. He says, I guess Pat, Claudio, and Moxley are trios champs now. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bus. Is it like a black school bus? Is that what that is? It was so hard because like you didn't get that close a look at it, but it kind of looked like an ambulance. It kind of looked like it looked like a short bus, you know. I can't go any further than that. I'll get thrown off of YouTube. Why isn't Jack Perry wearing his helmet? I'm sorry. No, it's an old truck that was converted into a bus. Are you sure? Oh, how about all the change that was dumped into the BMW or whatever the hell that was? Oh my God. But yeah, a lot of little things happening on the show tonight. I know a lot of people were expecting Motor City Machine Guns because I'm like, my God, it's like the best kept secret in the industry. Some people are like, no, they're going to show up in AEW any day now. Some people are like, no, WWE, NXT, main roster. What? No, they're going to go. See, what I said a few weeks ago, or maybe it was a few months ago, I don't know. I said they should show up in Detroit, bound for glory, but attack whoever's in the ring at the time, like whoever's the tag champs, and be like, oh my God, they're back in TNA, yay. And then attack whoever is in the ring and then rip their shirts off and it says NXT on it, you know, kind of like an outsiders thing. I think that'd be the best thing they could do. Turn them heel, make them from NXT, make them bad. Zach says, well, 4 teams weren't revealed in the gauntlet. See, I had no clue. Like, I didn't catch the details of it. You know, we're getting a few more YouTube guys in here. Thank you. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button. Keanu says, hell yeah, that'd be sick. And I come up with a few good ideas once in a while. I've watched a little wrestling. I come up with a few good ones. We'll see. I don't know. It's like if that actually happens, I'm going to fall off the damn couch. Carl Andrew, good evening. What's up? Jericho gonna for another new character, the desperate millionaire like Ted DiBiase. That's interesting. JC and Punk got announcement next week, Tuesday. Interesting. What can it be? Is that going to be the wait? No, that's not the debut. No, the debut for he's probably going to announce something for whatever he's going to do on October. What is it? October 1st, whatever the CW debut of NXT. Did they say that last night? Probably. Hey, I gotta watch it. I want to watch it anyways because I want to see the Obafemi match with Hammerstone, and then I want to see Jordan Grace's match with Sol Ruka. I'm sure that was pretty damn good. October 1st. Thank you, Courtney. I knew it was either the first or second. All right. What else? What else are we talking about? You were disappointed in Oba's match? How are you disappointed in Oba's match? He's pretty impressive. You're not disappointed. Well, so you're saying CM Punk did not do that last night? See, I didn't watch it last night. Do you think NXT TNA stuff is getting too much when they do? When do they dial it back, or should it just continue? I I like that they're doing just like little bits here and there, and that's they can't overdo it. I don't think it's getting too much. Jordan hasn't been on there in a long time. They're sprinkling stuff in with Rosemary with Wendy Chu because now Wendy Chu's going for Jordan's title on Friday, which is going to be very exciting. I'm very excited for that. I think it's going to end up that Wendy Chu is going to lose, but Rosemary is going to keep on with the feud. Maybe Wendy Chu will help Rosemary get the win down the line. Say Bound for Glory. Just a guess. Why is this all crooked? Anyways, it's because of my head. But no, I think it's okay. It's I don't think, but yeah, that's the point is to not overdo it. They've been having a few people go over here and there. They got some surprises here and there. They had God, I can't think of his name. He was in the Ultimate X, had a great match where the rest of the TNA guys, Riley something, whatever it was, from Chase U. Great NXT, um, great X Division, I should say, style wrestler. But yeah, it's been okay. Hammerstone showed up now. That was out of nowhere. I don't think anybody saw that coming, unless it was spoiled. Riley Osborne. Is that all right? Okay, yeah, Riley Osborne. Thank you, Courtney. I was. He is underrated. Yeah, I think he's growing. He's growing as a performer, and I think he's still very new to the fans' eyes. So give him time. Give him time. This is a pretty organic way of getting him in front of different audiences and helping him grow that way too. It really is good. It really is good. Some of it is preparing. Maybe people want to stay in TNA for a while and then move up to something bigger and better in NXT and WWE. You can only do so much in NXT. So Shawn Michaels is like, all right, well, I don't know what you're going to do for a while in NXT. So let's throw you in something over here in TNA for a couple months or a few weeks or whatever till we figure out what you're going to do back over here next. It's great. It's a win-win. Shawn Michaels is, for as many bumps as the guy took, the guy's pretty smart. Oh, Racist Fan Rock says they're leading up to Uba versus Moose. Oh, you mean Oba? Oba Femi? So, yeah, lots of great stuff. Even, what's this? Even Gail Kim wants NXT women's in her division. Yeah, it's great seeing some of the girls come over, you know, even if it's ones we're not super familiar with. It's just great for them. Okay, now we're going to backtrack to AEW for a bit. Here we go. Well, what about thoughts on Swerve versus Hangman? That was brutal. Okay, so I'm a big fan of both. I understand that Swerve wants to take a vacation now. So yeah, so he's going to be gone for a while. There was something in that needle, yo. That was something. Some people say it was too violent. Some say it was too much. I was like, oh, it's a cinder block. It's like, oh crap, it's a real cinder block. It's not one of the cinder blocks that just goes poof when you land on it, like we've seen before. It's yeah, that was harsh because then they showed Hangman's back after he landed on it and scraped his back, and like I don't know how many layers of skin came off. That was harsh. Um, no, I love the feud. I love the fact that they burned the house down. That I love that. That's an old school feel to it. Like, oh my god, they burned the house down. And I tell you what, I didn't see it coming. I watched the promo earlier today, and they had the thing of, they had the thing recently that Swerve signed a new extension. He signed a new contract. It's like, oh, great, great, good for him. That was like a lot of people were talking about that. Like that was really good for AEW. Some people are like, oh yeah, that was a bad move because they didn't think much of him. He's a great performer. He really is. And then because of the contract, then he gets to buy back his old childhood home. It's a great story. It's a great part of this, this evolution, this a new chapter for Swerve, even though he's not champ anymore. It's like, oh, okay, so he signed a new contract. He's got the house. Okay, here comes Hangman. And at the end of the show, they were supposed to have a face-off, and Swerve's in the ring with Nana, and it was all emotional. Like, here we go, right before All Out. And Hangman is he's in the house and he starts walking around, and Swerve's starting to get nervous. It's like, whoa, he's in the house. So I'm thinking like he's gonna like, spray paint the house. He's gonna break a few windows. Um, he's gonna bust a banister. It's like, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna do that much. If he's fixing up his old house, he's not gonna do much. And then like halfway through the promo, you see him waving around a gas can and spreading gas all over the place. And it's like, oh, no, oh, no way. And then he sits what looks like he started in the front. He worked his way to the back. So he's sitting in the backyard because it looked different than the front. So that's kind of, people are like, oh, it was a different house. Whatever. I'm not, you guys are overthinking it. You guys are overthinking it. I'm like, okay, you walk to the back of the house. It's on some lot. It's some house that just gets used for Hollywood stuff, whatever. It's a fake house. And Hangman's there and lights the match, and poof, house just goes up in like a box of matches. Crazy. I I loved it. I loved it. And then we get to the match, ultra violent. Um, I didn't take that close look at the chair at the end. Oh, it was a gimmick chair. I don't know. Sometimes they go ahead and they do some extreme stuff that WWE doesn't do. That's the difference. Who knows? But no, I liked it. And I actually like this new version of Hangman. He's like he's got a sickness in him now, you know. Like he destroyed Swerve, but that didn't satisfy him. Like he still has this in him. Like he's just gonna keep destroying people or whatever, whoever gets in his way. The Jeff Jarrett thing. I like Double J. You know, this generation's cowboy versus the old generation's cowboy. We're probably going to see that next week or at Grand Slam or whatever. Who knows? Racist Fan Rock says, I don't know if you seen this. Trick Williams has been pulled from this weekend's NXT house shows. Okay, no, I haven't been online all day. Logan James, hi. How you doing? Keanu says the violence in the cage match reminds me of Swerve's match in Lucha Underground against AR Fox. Bro, I love that match. That was like at the end of, or towards the end of what, season 3 or 4, something, whatever. The last couple seasons get a little blurry to me. But I covered 90% of it on this channel. So if you ever want to watch some old reviews of what I used to talk about with Lucha Underground, it's on this channel. And that was one of their big shows, I think. But yeah, I became it was around that time that I really became a fan of AR Fox, because AR Fox, and it was around that same time that Flow Slam was around. They were featuring a lot of indies on there, along with international stuff on Flow Slam. I know some of you are like, Flow Slam? What the hell is Flow Slam? Flow Slam was a streaming service similar to like Fight or Triller or High Spots. It lasted about a year and then faded into obscurity. They even had House of Hardcore on there for a while. Tommy had a weekly or monthly show on there. But AR Fox was a part of he had a I don't know if he still has a school down in Florida, but it was part of it was one of the indies one of the bigger indies down in Florida, and I can't remember it was like IWA or something like that. I forget. But that's where I became a fan of him. He would bring his students in and they would all wrestle on these indie shows on Flow Slam. But he's been around a long time. Yeah, I miss Lucha Underground. That was a different kind of beast, wasn't it? For those of you that never watched Lucha Underground, you missed out. It is the best thing that came out in this last decade. Last decade, mind you. Not the 20s, not the 2020s. I'm talking about the 2010s. Best thing in the 2010s. I miss Lucha Underground. Yeah. It's nice to hear people talk about it, though. It's like, and I was one of the main ones that was reviewing it. Who the hell was the writer? The big guy. Can't think of his name. But he would watch my shows. He even messaged me a few times. And then I actually booked him on I booked him on the Ramblers, Rambling About Wrestling podcast. That was what we were 10 years ago. Now it's Ramblers Unleashed. We're older. We're it's getting life gets spicy as you get older, so we're unleashed now. I don't know. It says when it ended, it was like when the next episode's coming out, and then all of a sudden, behind the wrestler. Yeah. Dark Side of the Ring. It should be a dark Side of the Ring episode. It should be like a two episode part of the story behind Lucha Underground. Get Vampiro on there, some of the producers, some of the wrestlers. That's where I became a fan of Pentagon. That's where I became a fan of Phoenix, Brian Cage. Sammy Guevara was on there for a cup of coffee. So many people were, got their like start on there, and then it spread out. There was this explosion where people started doing the indies in the US, and then TNA picked up a few, NXT picked up a few, or whatever, Ricochet went to WWE, now he's with AEW, Willie Mack, and there's a few that kind of fell by the wayside that I miss, like Matt, the guy that had the mask on, Matt Cross. I think it's, he still does the indies, but no one ever signed him. I don't know why. Maybe that's a story for another day. I don't know. Chelsea Green's match against Penta was insane. Yeah, she showed up. She had the jet black hair. She could really do it. She could really do like all sorts of stuff. Oh, tidbit. Tidbit time. Jason Momoa was at my job yesterday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. What was he doing? I know he has sponsors and stuff. Was it like he's got like a, I know for a while he was sponsoring a new canned water. Does he have like a new alcohol out? He was selling vodka. Nice. And tomorrow Hulk Hogan will be at my job for a meet and greet at 3 p.m. Okay, he traveled all over Wisconsin and I missed it. He was like 5 minutes from here. I was so pissed. I found out about it after the fact. I was going through some Google headlines or whatever, he's just scrolling through some news at the end of the day on your phone. And it's like, oh yeah, Hulk Hogan's in Sheboygan or whatever. Sheboygan's just north of here. I'm like, son of a bitch. I don't drink anymore, but I would buy his beer just to try it, Vodka. I'm gonna have to check out that vodka, or at least see what he's selling. You met Ron Killings a week or so ago, dude. That's awesome. I love Ron Killings. I think people forget that he's a former NWA world champion. The guy's done some amazing stuff. He's not just a goofball, but he could do it. I always wanted him to do a solid heel turn and just mess up everyone and just shock people. But Vince just kept him a goofball. I wish Trips would, maybe when he comes back, he'll turn heel and then end his career. He's been around for freaking ever. He started early 2000s? Crazy. What else was I going to talk about? We've been on here for about an hour. How you doing, hon? Okay. This is J-Bone walking through. Any thoughts? I got a few people in here. Any thoughts on 9/11? I saw a few tributes today. AEW had a short thing that they, did a remembering, not a big video package or whatever. But And I saw a few news things this morning. But yeah, excuse me. If you live through it, you know, they say you don't forget. You never forget. If you were little, yeah, that's another thing. But it's hard to believe it was like a little over 20 years ago. And yeah, that was like a different lifetime, but I just remember being really scared, leaving my part-time job. I had to go pick up my kids from school. They closed school. Flights, you know, airports were closed for weeks. It felt like, I think. I won't go into like too much I really can't go into too much detail because I don't know. But this is a little bit of behind the scenes of something, maybe a part of something you never heard of before, and I'll share it with you. I'm not going to name names or nothing, but I had a friend. I guess I'm still friends with him. I just haven't talked to him in like forever. Um, he is former military, and I don't remember what branch he was. I think he was Marines. I'm not sure. Um, but I remember him coming over to our house that afternoon, and he was talking about how he got phone calls from some of his old friends in the military, and they said that they were using stuff. I don't know, how do I say this? They were using stuff in communications in the military that they haven't used since Vietnam. And it's like, wow. It's like, that's deep. That's deep. So, you know, people were angry. People wanted to fight. I don't mean each other. I just mean, you know, fight the people that did this to us. You know, it was because once it happened, it was like, well, what else is going to happen? What else is going to happen? You know, it was scary. It was unpredictable. Apparently, some people knew about it. I don't know. I'm not gonna dive into the theories. I've seen so many theories over the last few decades. It's crazy. It's crazy. Courtney says, never forget. Keanu says, I just can't believe 23 years I was watching TV and it was when the second plane hit TV. Yeah. My aunt used to work in the building next to the Twin Towers. Yeah, a lot of buildings got wrecked, came down around those, and like they weren't even in the news, you know. Even though I live in Australia, we had it all over our news and our teachers having to talk to us about it. Yeah, like it affected people worldwide. Like, because it was, and it's not just because it was like, I mean, it was a devastating terror attack, but the World Trade Center was such a symbol of, I don't know, it was it was a symbol, you know. It was like one of those iconic things, like what if somebody blew up the Eiffel Tower, you know, like one of those things. Pretty sad day during a 9/11. Yeah, I was in gym class when it happened. All right, you know what? I'll I don't remember if I might have told it on here before, but I got some new audience in here, so I'll briefly tell what I was doing. So I was, it was the start of a regular day. Like I took my kids to school. And like I said, I was working a part-time job. I was working at a union office and I was just doing odd jobs. I was like I would set up their meeting hall in the basement for when they would have their meetings and such. I'd set up all the tables and chairs. The union bosses, I'd go take their trucks to go get them washed because they would come in from work sites. I would go get them filled up with gas. I would take out trash. If they had stacks of old filings, papers, whatever, um, I would stand in the one office like all day and just shred paper nonstop. Just a bunch of odd stuff, you know. Office supplies would come in. I'd stock them in the stock room. Just, you know, a bunch of little, you know, nothing like skilled labor, nothing, just a bunch of odd stuff. So I get there. I walk in I park in the back and I walk in. And when you walk in the back of the building, where we came in was like a break room / kitchen area. And it had a small TV, you know, I don't know, a regular small TV. And there's like a dozen people around it. And I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to be rude, but everyone's standing around it. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Something's on the news. It was like, whatever. I didn't think about it. I just kind of excused myself through the crowd. Like, excuse me, guys. I got to go, you know, start work. So I go punch in and I go in the office and find out that my boss is in the kitchen with everyone else watching TV. I'm like, what the hell? So I quick ask, I'm like, I glance at the TV and then I'm like, oh, there's a building burning. Okay, whatever. Terrible thing. Just had other stuff on my mind. I wasn't gonna, you know, I was trying to stay focused, you know. So I told my boss, I'm like, what do you want me to do? He's like, oh, just start setting up the basement for, you know, X amount of people. I'm like, oh, okay. But then something told me to turn on the TV in the basement. I'm like, I'll turn on the TV in the basement and I'll keep an eye on the news just in case this is like, you know, really something, you know. It's like, it just, because when the first plane hit, it was a horrible accident. That's what it felt like. I was like, oh my God, a plane flew into a building? That's crazy. How did that happen? Horrible accident. At least that was my thinking. I don't know if anyone else was like, oh, we're under attack. I think people put that in their heads and kicked into gear when the second plane hit. So I'm setting up tables in the basement, the big conference room. And I'm about halfway done. And I turn and look at the TV when the second plane hit. And then like chills just went down my spine. It was just like, oh, you know, just this sick feeling like, oh, what is happening? What is going on? Then it's, you know, then the people on the news talking about it, whatever station it was, I don't know. It was like, okay, this is not an accident. We're under attack. This is some terrorist thing. This is, you know, then you start hearing about the other flights and everything. And then I get a call from my wife saying, hey, I can't leave here right, because she was working at I think she was working at a daycare at the time. So she was in the process of calling parents saying, hey, pick up your kids. She's like, they're closing school. You need to go pick up the kids. So I was like, yeah, I'm on it. I'll do it. It'll take me a while to get over there, but I'm on it. And so you're just driving there with this scared feeling like, oh my God, what, like we're under attack. What else is going to happen? Like, are bombs going to start falling? Are planes going to start plummeting out of the sky where I'm at? It was a horrible feeling. I picked up my kids. Like two of them, I'm trying to remember. It's a little fuzzy. I think two of my kids were like in daycare or in like 4K. And then my youngest daughter, out of the three at the time, because my son wasn't born yet, was with my wife at the daycare center where she worked at. So all she had to do was bring her home, but she couldn't leave until all the other kids were gone. So that was a process. So I pick up the kids. And I get them home, and then eventually my wife came home, and we're just sitting there. We're letting the kids play outside because they don't get it. They're little, you know. And we had a few friends come over, and that's when I told you that's, you know, we had that one military friend come over, and he was talking about how he was getting phone calls from his friends, and it was like, oh my God, wait, like how much is this going to escalate? Now, mind you, I'm living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the time. But this was, you know, right in the heart of the Midwest. But nowhere near where all this other stuff was happening. But it was still scary. Like it could have, like, oh, okay, it happened. You know, stuff was in the Capitol, stuff was in New York. Plane went down. I can't remember where the plane went down. Pennsylvania. Thank you, babe. I was going to say Virginia, but no. But yeah, it was so scary. And then like that was like all that was on the news. You couldn't get away from it for weeks and weeks and weeks. The tribute songs came out, like Toby Keith put out his song and other people put out their songs. Rest in peace, Toby Keith. Man, he was great at doing that, man. It's his songs touched America. You know, whether you love country or not, I think people appreciated it. People for the first time in a long time, everybody was buying American flags. There was this united feeling all across our country, and honestly, all across the world. I feel like everybody was like, there was a sympathy, there was an empathy. And what's so sad, and I'm trying not to turn this into a political thing, but if you look at what our country is like today, it is nowhere near what it was like back 20 some years ago. And it is so sad. We are so divided. Like people don't know how to talk to each other anymore. I mean, I use this format, you know, and I have a lot of friends through podcasting, but it's like this country is so different now, and it's so sad. And I wish we could get back to that. I really do. It was a different, I mean, yeah, we were scared, but there was something that pulled everyone together, you know? Says, I miss the old days. Shanksville, Pennsylvania. By the way, good evening. Terrence Sullivan. Good to see you, man. Oh, God, Courtney, that had to be terrifying, your aunt and family. Terrence says, I was at work on the 12th floor of an office tower downtown Montgomery. It was terrifying. Yeah, if you were like in any kind of high rise, my goodness, that had to be terrifying. That day basically changed most of the world. Yeah, it's true. It's true. 150 something flights of stairs, or climbing 150 something flights during 9/11 is scary even thinking about. Yeah. Just rewatching the aftermath of the 9/11 crash It's just like Goosebumps. Pretty sure was 4 planes in all, and the first 2 were horrific. Yeah, like we really don't have footage of the plane crash in Pennsylvania, and the one that hit Pentagon has always been controversial. Like, oh, it was a plane. Well, then where did the plane go? No, it was a missile. Like, none of it's on camera. That's the weird part, you know. There was, you know, but and I don't want to get into like the theories all around that, but that was, you know, that's the weird part. Like, people put out like video diagrams of what actually happened, but no video ever of that one. At least I haven't heard of it. Crazy. Not that you have to see it, but we've seen the Twin Towers how many times? Anyways, I saw. We're switching gears now. Switching gears. I saw on the news that the blade of the Butcher and the Blade just had back fusion surgery. I tell you what, it was weird. Like, I saw his Instagram, and like the little video is him walking down the hallway, cameras behind him. He's in his hospital gown, big brace around him, and he's walking with his IV pole. And it was crazy because I have a video somewhere. I don't know if it's on my Facebook. I don't remember. But I had back fusion too, and I have a video almost exactly like that one, like where I'm walking down the hallway gingerly after my back fusion with my, my IV pole. And I saw that, and it gave me chills. I was like, oh my God, is that my video? And I don't mean to laugh, but it was just weird, It was like, wait, who is that? Oh, it's the Blade. Oh no, not the Blade. So, is he going to make a comeback? Hey, Orton did. I always joked after my back fusion, because I had 2 back surgeries, and then I had the fusion down in the lower part of my back. And I always joked, I was like, yeah, now I'm going to start my wrestling career. No, I'm not. Never. I'm not built for that. I stubbed my toe and my day is done. I'm not built for that. I'm just kidding. My wife could probably attest to that. Right, honey? Yeah. She's like, yep. Yeah.
You get a paper cut and your day is done.
I get a paper cut and my day is done. Oh. Zach Bonifer says, wasn't WWE the first sporting event that resumed? I think it was. And it was so great to see, but it was still so somber. Still so somber. Remember seeing some of the photos of the one that hit Pennsylvania. Yeah, that was just a big, I hate to say it, but a big mess, out in an open field. Left a big indent yeah. What happened to the Blade? He wrecked his back. He's been what's his last name? Pepper. He's with the bunny. I suppose that's why we haven't seen her. She's taking care of him. So, yep. So yeah, I hope he heals up. I hope he can, it's great to see him in the ring again. But if not, you just hope you can have like a normal life again, because like you got to learn to walk again. Like you're not like crawling or nothing, but you got to like really take it easy for a while. Back fusion is nothing to mess with. Crazy. I don't think there's anything else I really wanted to talk about. So I'm going to wrap this up. All right. So I want to thank you all for joining me for this. I don't know when's the next one I'm going to do on here. We'll see. I'd like to make this regular again, but it's always a work in progress, you know. So I'll see you guys. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications, so that you know when more of my stuff hits your screen. Love you guys. Take care. See ya.